Happy birthday! No, not Jordan. AEW. AEW celebrated its sixth birthday, or its sixth year in existence. Joining me to basically run through a bit of Dynamite and a little bit more about the AEW 6 years is, of course, the man that you'll find on the One Breezy podcast. It is Jordan. Hello, mate. It's not your birthday, obviously.
I wish it was because we all know that on our birthdays we get like special treatment. But mine's in February. So the Dynamite, yes, very special, celebrating its 6 years anniversary. So what is your favorite over the last 6 years?
You took the question out of my playbook here. I was going to ask you. My favorite Dynamite memory. Do you know? There's been quite. To be honest, it's been gone 6 years. There's been so many. Like there has been really quite a lot of memorable moments. I remember one of the matches they done. I'm sure it was during COVID. I think it was like the Mimosa match between Cassidy and Jericho. Way back
Mm.
when they done that moment. Dynamite's had a lot of special moments, really, but you know. Oh, it's hard to pin dig on. Do you know, I've always thought with AEW, what they've done really well. On the, I'll tell you what it is, and it wasn't Dynamite. It was Rampage. Was when Punk come back. I know the first
Yeah.
time. That was probably the best moment for me in the 6 years. But they have done a lot of great ways of bringing people in. I know we're going to get to something in a minute that happens on Dynamite where someone comes in, but that's what I like about what Dynamite have done over the 6 years. They've evolved as a company, and I think you both agree, Jordan, that wrestling is better with AEW in there.
100%. I think without AEW, it won. I mean, I'm one for everyone in like whether that's in New Japan, AEW, CMLL, because that means they've got a job. Do you know what I mean? And every person in AEW puts on good matches, good promos, good. It's just if it's different. It's more grittier, in my opinion.
Yeah. No, I prefer the wrestling with AEW and with TNA, NWA, WWE, CMLL. We could list could go on and on and on. But the more promotions there are around, the better for everyone and variety for everyone. But you asked me that question about the 6 years and what my favorite memory was. What's your favorite AEW memory for the 6 years?
So my first, obviously, apart from the Punk one, which is I think is a lot of people's favorite,
Yeah.
I love the Stadium Stampede match, the first one. I
Yeah.
loved it because obviously you've got the inner circle coming down from the rafters. I
Yeah.
thought that was cool in
Yeah.
Jacksonville as well.
Yeah, in Jacksonville. I must also say the Adam Cole, that Brian Danielson double debut
Yeah,
was really, really good the way he done that. But anyway, look, 6 years of Dynamite, and the Young Bucks lost their money that they had recently. They went back to being the broke Bucks. I think it was lucky they didn't put Mountain at the end of that, which would have been another story for another podcast. But I tell you what I do love about AEW, and the opening contest was well pretty much epitomized AEW for me. Young Bucks, Josh Alexander with Don Callis, who we'll talk about the more extended family members that he's going to be getting on this show, Omega and Brodido. This was just, if you epitomized AEW in one match that would take over these last 6 years, there's your match right there. It was an awesome, awesome start to Dynamite.
100%. And I will agree with you on that one because if you think about it, on the first Dynamite, you had Kenny Omega and the Bucks, but this time they're on opposite sides.
Yes, it did. Yeah.
And then I love the formation of Brody, King, and Bandito, two
Yeah.
great people, which is going to be interesting when Buddy Matthews comes back.
Yeah. Out till the end of the year, though, from what we hear. That's the recent news now. That's
Yeah,
little bit longer, unfortunately for Buddy. But yeah, this was great. But it wasn't just the match that was great. It was well potentially the aftermath of this. Um, the return, second return to AEW, or should I say the second coming of AEW of Andrade El Idolo. Didn't work out in WWE. Went to AEW, didn't work out there. Issues, don't know, the ins and outs. Went back to WWE. Then a disciplinary issue causes him to get released. Back with AEW. And he absolutely annihilates Kenny Omega, by the way. But in this, I mean, is it gonna work for Andrade in AEW now?
you mentioned obviously the first time he didn't work in AEW. I think it did.
Mhm.
But the reason why he went back, he was married to a certain someone at the time.
Yeah, it was.
So, and if you think about it, the last, I'd say 3 months that he was in AEW, he was picking up some quite a good and big victories and putting on banger matches in the Continental Classic.
Yes.
And then he appeared at CMLL show, which was the first time in like I think 7 years.
Yep.
And then he went, obviously debuted in the Rumble in January. But I think Andrade is a star, and I
Yeah.
think used right in AEW now. I mean, look who he's going up against. It kind of makes me feel like it's like John Moxley debuting in AEW because if you remember, he went for Kenny
He did.
when he first came in. I mean, what a way to bring him back to put him in a match against one of the top stars in AEW.
Yeah, and that is going to be they're on a collision course, that's for sure. But Andrade has joined the Don Callis family, which brings me to the next bit. Obviously, Briscoe had a promo about MJF, teaching MJF a lesson in their match recently, and it led us to Carl Fletcher and Orange Cassidy. Now, again, it was great to see Orange Cassidy back. Carl Fletcher, for me, is an absolute mega star in the making. And what made me laugh is when I went to the Forbidden Door presser at the end of Forbidden Door in the UK, he's so softly spoken. It's unbelievable. With a guy that's so big, he's just talks so. He's got such a soft voice, which is quite weird. But great guy. I never thought the championship was going to change hands, excuse me, in this, just because I feel as if when Cole Fletcher does lose this championship, it's going to be a not no disrespect to Orange Cassidy, it's going to be a really big deal when Carl loses. He's not just going to lose on a random episode of Dynamite, in my opinion. But this had more shenanigans, shall we say, and yet another member of the Don Callis family. He seems to be getting the old NWO. Do you remember when at one point it was like three people and the next it was like 3,000? He's becoming
Yeah,
into that. And it's now Hologram's evil twin, Clon, I think is the name, or Clone. I don't know how you want to pronounce it. But
Clone.
Clon, yeah, Clon, thank you. You know me very well. Japanese, Mexican names don't work well with me on this. But look, more importantly though, Cole Fletcher, megastar, but Don Callis family is growing by the week on Dynamite.
Mm. I mean, I put a tweet out on Twitter. I think I said I want to see a battle royal for every member who's in the Don Callis family, and the winner takes Don out on a date. Because if you think about it, there's like 13 people there now,
Yeah,
and you've got Mark Davies and Brian Cage who's injured. So it's like, and when you're adding star power to a group like that, you got to think like who actually fits. I'm looking at some of them people, and they don't fit,
mm,
in my opinion. But
yeah,
like if you look at the NWO back in the day, you could see the people and it fitted.
yeah,
I mean, you got El Clone, or however you say his name, and then no offense to the guy, but you got just a random Mark Davies. I know he's with Kyle Fletcher, but Kyle's doing, like you mentioned, a superb guy. He's doing his own thing now.
mm,
Some people don't fit, but it's like a modern day Avengers in it, if you want to look at it like that.
yeah. It is,
It's just too
and
much.
but we're definitely gonna get one member will not be soon be a member of the Longcast Barons. That'll be Takeshita. Looks like him and Okada are going to end up on a collision course at some point. So that will eliminate one member of
Mm.
that family. Maybe they'll do a match where the loser gets kicked out. Maybe that's how they'll do that at a later date. Anyway, it's not going to happen now. But yeah, growing Don Callis family, and then we go from that to a puppet. A puppet CEO, but not straight away. Obviously, we don't. Mercedes Monet is 16 days away from breaking Jade Cargill's record, so we know that's going in a couple of weeks. That's a definite. I don't care. That's happening. They're going to do that for sure. But she wants to defend her championship next week in Jacksonville against someone from Florida. So that's a mystery. But she also wants to win the newly given women's tag team titles. Please, Tony, I beg you one thing: don't put it on Mercedes Monet. But she wants a tag team partner, and that tag team partner, well, Harley Cameron wanted in with Mercedes Monet. That's not happening, although the puppet seems to think he's playing hard to get. Number one, who takes on Mercedes next week? And two, does she eventually partner with Harley Cameron, or is there somebody else in the mix?
Who do I think it could be next week from Florida? I don't know many people from Florida,
No, I couldn't rack my brain long and think hard enough to come up with anyone.
but the tag titles for the women is way overdue,
Yes.
and I've got three teams who I think could win it
Hmm.
or who I think is deserving. One
Yep.
of them is Ty Mello and Anna Jay, two originals in
Yep.
AEW, and it's just nice to put them on.
Yep.
Another one could be the Triangle of Madness, but do the Freebird rule,
Yeah, could work.
or Mercedes Moné to add another belt, and I really think Harley Cameron deserves a title.
Yeah, she does. She's been great, Hardy Cameron. But I don't want Mercedes winning another title. She's got too many as it is. But she will. But she will be the longest reigning TBS champion. There's no,
Mm,
that's not going to happen. And I wish I knew the contract status of this person I'm going to say right now because it's probably way out of time. But Bailey for her tag partner, I don't know when the contract's up, so I'm probably miles out. But I got a feeling when the contract's up, I do have a feeling that she will be leaving WWE.
I hope so.
Yeah. So there we go. That's why I'm not saying it's going to happen. I just feel what I'm saying is going to happen is Bailey will end up in AEW. I just don't know when that's going to be. That's my prediction.
2026. Call it.
Oh, here you go. You can give me the date.
I reckon it's going to be because obviously she just returned back now, aren't she? She's going to be doing a little Psycho Bailey program
Yeah,
or
Psycho
whatever it is,
Bailey. Yeah.
and then she'll be out next year in AEW by end of 2026. I can see it.
Right, so we're going to clip that, folks. That's going to be clipped so that if it does happen, we can come back to this. If it doesn't happen, I can point at you and say you're wrong. But either way, it's going to be clipped on the socials. Um, anyway, Death Riders and Hangman. So there was a lot of stuff going on this week. Obviously, Hangman Adam Page didn't have an opponent for Wrestle Dream. That soon changed. I did like the fact that Claudio ate the pin this week. It was against the Powerhouse Hobbs and Samoa Joe and Hangman Adam Page. I like the fact Wheeler Yuta didn't get the pin because he's normally the fall guy for anything the Death Riders do. It's normally him that gets it. I'm glad that Claudio Castagnoli this time ate the pinfall, but it was more again about what happened afterwards. There was some tension between Hangman and Samoa Joe. And what's happened since then is that Hangman, Adam Page, and Samoa Joe will be going one-on-one at Wrestle Dream. Is that a match you can get behind those two, or do you think Hangman is that a little bit weak for Hangman's booking at the minute?
I think it's rushed. Do you know what I mean? It's got no build.
Mhm.
It's it's been rushed. There's obviously the kid became partners, and then he knocked his title off his thing, and now all of a sudden he deserves a match. Not really. Do you know what I mean?
No.
Whereas, in my opinion, if you want to do something random, have like a battle royal at next week. I'd
Yeah.
probably get behind that and have like someone surprising win it. But
Mm.
if you think about it, at Wrestle Dream, it's 1 year. Was it 1 year since what's his name lost? No, it can't be. Joe lost it. When did Joe lose it? Joe lost it
Years
at
ago.
Wrestle Dream in 2023, didn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Two
it's like a
years.
2 year full circle moment.
Mm. That's interesting. There's a story there. So I suppose he lost it 2 years ago. But I do get the point though, in terms of rushed. It just feels like it's let's just put this on. Feels like they're waiting for something there with Hangman because, and this isn't a disrespect to Cole Fletcher either, but like I would have thought when Cole Fletcher would have took on Hangman that he would have beat him, and I felt as if that was the match he kind of had for when Hanger was ready to lose. Now he's had MJF as well, but I just feel that his reign at the moment is a little bit. There's no kind of long-term substance behind it at the minute in terms of opponents. As you
Yeah.
said with Joe there, it was very sort of 2 weeks to go. Shit, he's not got a match. Let's put him in the ring with Samoa Joe. It's kind of it feels like that to me. And guessing you
Mm.
feel the same there.
I love Hangman as well, but I think it's a hard one because I love him and he's good on the mic, he's good in the ring, good storytelling. But I think since the Kyle one, I've not got behind. I can't get behind him.
No,
And
strange
it's
one.
like it's like the trios titles as well. What the fuck are
Yeah,
they doing?
I don't know.
Do you know what I
I've
mean?
no clue.
Put it on either the Bang Bang Gang, put it on the Demand, or put it on the Hurt Syndicate,
Yeah.
or even put it on the Acclaimed again.
That's probably where they're going eventually with that. Anthony Bowens and Max Caster sort of getting there with that. They were on Collision last week. FTR will be facing Kevin Knight and a mystery opponent on Saturday on Collision. Funnily enough, sorry, not on Saturday, on this week on Collision, shall we say? But then we followed by, and of course, we can't think of an AEW 6 years without it becoming timeless at one point or another against Tay Mello. Obviously, listen, Tony Storm was always going to beat Tay Mello. No disrespect to Tay, but Tony's right in the middle of her quest to reclaim the championship back of Statlander, sorry, straight away. And it seems as if that is happening at Wrestle Dream, but I can't see Tony Storm beating Chris Statlander at Wrestle Dream straight away. I feel as if Statlander, her championship reigns haven't been long enough for me, and I really want to. You kind of hit the nail on the head when you said something about Hangman. You want to get behind them, but it's never kind of worked out. And I feel as if that's the same with Statlander.
Yeah, I'd agree with you on that one. I think I wouldn't have given it Tony Storm, for the first challenger.
Yeah.
I'd have obviously let Tony Storm do something, and then even put Chris Statlander against someone like Tekla
Oh
or even
yes.
someone else. To build that momentum up to verse Tony
Yeah.
Storm, and then it can be I'm not saying a redemption story for Tony, but I can't see her winning even at Wrestle Dream.
No, no, she won't win at Wrestle Dream. I can't see it. I can't see it. I think you're right. I think they may circle it back around. Maybe she's the one that beats Monet. Who knows? Eventually for the TBS, perhaps. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, I agree. She's not win. Statlander's not losing that title at Wrestle Dream in a couple of weeks. That's for certain. Anyway, um, GOA against the Swirl. I don't know if I can get behind just the team name on there. I don't know what the I don't know the reason why they're called the Swirl either. Maybe I've missed something on that. The Gates of Agony were always going to win this for sure. There was no doubt about that. But it was again more about what happened after the match and the Hurt Syndicate that you kind of mentioned already have challenged the GOA and Ricochet or Baldy or whatever you want to call him to a no, well, it says a no disqualification street fight, but I thought street fights were no DQ anyway. I think that's the way it is for Dynamite next week. They've accepted and the match is on. Obviously, goes back to Forbidden Door. They technically cost the Hurt Syndicate the tag team championships, but that's just going to be chaos next week, isn't it?
Definitely. And I think the Hurt Syndicate's going to win,
Yeah,
and then it's going to set up another match, probably maybe at Wrestle Dream, but
yeah.
it's going to be like a stipulation or something. I could be wrong. But then I think MJF comes back, then attacks Bobby Lashley
Okay. Hmm.
because they kind of kicked MJF out and then never revisited it. But that could be a way to revisit it.
Yeah.
Or MJF joins up with the Demand or whatever they called, and then the new Pinnacle, something.
Could happen. That could definitely happen. I feel as if MJF has just fallen. I know that he's had like some runs. I know he's been filming, but from where he was 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, I just feel like he's fallen off a cliff a lot of ways. I don't know. I don't know. Movies aside, I know he's been doing movies, and I know he's still one of the best, microphone and what have you. But I needs a run in AEW now. He needs to come back from this and just I don't know. They need to do something with him.
He's been putting triple duty though, hasn't he? He's been doing
Yeah.
CMLL.
Yeah.
I mean, what did he do in 48 hours? He did the match with Mystico,
Yeah.
then obviously AEW, and then I think he went on his honeymoon or something.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
But yeah, your body must have been hurting by that time.
Oh, yeah. Definitely. 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 Now, earlier on, I mentioned the Wheeler Yuta didn't take a pinfall, and of course he didn't because he was in the main event, which is when I put my arrow down on my notes to put his name down on my list of with the fact that he was in the main event, which was a mixed tag. Darby Allin and Statlander. We mentioned Statlander. We hadn't mentioned Darby yet. He's got an I Quit match coming up at Wrestle Dream, I believe, against John Moxley. But it was Darby Allin and Chris Statlander, Wheeler Yuta, and Marina Shafir, and yes, Wheeler Yuta does indeed take the pin. Well, they both scored a pinfall. To be fair, Chris Statlander did also pin Marina Shafir on was it an atomic drop with feet on the thumbtack? So Marina Shafir
That's
is
gotta
now
hurt.
yes, and Marina Shafir probably realizes that she should be wearing boots or trainers instead of bare feet in the ring. That was really a nasty one for certain. But after that, obviously, again, it was about a lot of it was what happened at the end of the match. And Tony Storm had a stare down with Statlander. And then Darby Allin gets absolutely brutally attacked by Pac and Moxley with a microphone at the end. And Moxley even said that Darby Allin will be saying "I quit" at the end of Wrestle Dream, and that's how Dynamite finished this week, which was a good ending. Um, how I mean, does Darby quit at Wrestle Dream, or is Moxley going to be the one saying it?
But you got to think about it because if it's going to be an I Quit match, the Blackpool Combat Club or I said the Blackpool Combat Club, fucking hell, the Death Riders are gonna. There's like four of them, five
Hmm.
of them. They're gonna get involved. So Darby is gonna take a beating at Wrestle Dream. It's
Yeah.
just gonna be a matter of who's gonna come out to help him.
Mm.
But
Sting?
I, yeah, could do. I mean, yeah, because at the end of the year he's retiring the face paint and everything, isn't he? So
Yeah.
the last few times, but I think there's only so long that this feud can go on for.
Mm.
They've had a
Yeah.
match, a Derby returned. It's, do you know what I mean? Like, if he doesn't end at this one, then the next one it needs to end.
Yeah. No, you are right. It does. It does. It needs to end. What do you make of the Death Riders, though, Jordan? Because I'm always a little bit. It, I didn't understand it at first. I got used to it. I kind of fell away from it. Then I come back to it. And I thought it was cool again. I've just never been solidly behind the Death Riders in AEW.
I got it at first because of Brian,
Yeah.
but then Brian's full in-ring career ended. Plus, Brian was battered from the year that he had.
Yeah.
But I always thought that he was going to end. If I was going to put anything, obviously go on like a year run, which they have.
Yeah.
I would end it at Blood and Guts next year, or not this year, or like do a Blood and Guts probably like March, April time.
Yeah.
And I've obviously the Death Riders and stuff like that, because there'll be like five of them. I mean, you've just added
Yeah.
Daniel Garcia, so yeah, it'll be five
Yeah.
on five versus call it Team AEW again. And I
Yeah.
think you should have one opponent to come out, and it'll be like who the Death Riders have had over the last year and a bit as a terror, and there should be a stipulation. The Team AEW wins, Death Riders are no more, or something. And I think Brian Danielson should come back
Yes.
for that match because it all started with him.
We did. Yeah.
So I think I got the storyline because obviously he attacked him, they turned on him, blah blah blah, and obviously he goes away for a year or something, comes back. That's what it would have happened. But they, if you're going to do something, you need to revisit it or come
Mm.
back to it. But they haven't. It's like John explained like why you turn on Brian, but then Brian gave Darby a bag. But it's not. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you're going to do something, you need to revisit it.
You do, you do. Incidentally, I've just read about Andrade, and apparently he was cut from the WWE due to numerous wellness policy violations.
See, I read the dirt sheets and all that stuff, but then it's only Andrade and stuff like that.
That's
I also heard that they fired him because he weren't speaking English well.
yeah. It's just
So
crazy, isn't
what do you do?
it?
But
I
if
don't
I'm a
know.
Mexican or Spanish or got a national and I'm trying to learn English, but then my co-workers and my job are telling me you need to do better, you need to do this, you need to do that. I'm sorry, but I'm going to do two ones up you. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. No,
Because
definitely.
you're taking the piss then.
Yeah, exactly that. And there's going to be the rumors and the swirling about it all the time. It was just a lot. PW Insider reported that one. So I don't know how reputable any of those sources are. Certainly, you take it all with a pinch of salt, don't you? But obviously something's happened there, and they sacked him, and now he's back in AEW, and that was AEW this week. Happy birthday, AEW, you've made wrestling a better place for everybody. That's without question. But look, Jordan, we're going to be back next week for another one. Will be the 6 year plus one episode of
Mm,
Dynamite.
definitely.
Before then, have you got anything that you can announce that comes up on your channels that you're allowed to? I appreciate the stuff that you may not be able to say.
So I've just recently had Nigel McGuinness.
Have you? Ah,
Yeah,
lovely. That was good. Oh wow, I
so that
haven't
was
seen.
very good.
Need to check that
And
out.
then I've got Ortiz coming up
For what from
from
Santana's ex tag
yeah.
partner? Very good. Very good.
So I'm going to be very happy about that.
Yeah, brilliant. Didn't know you had McGuinness. I'm sorry, I've been off the grid a little bit, so I didn't know you had McGuinness either. That was good. Two good, two good names. Ortiz would be interesting because obviously stuff with Santana and
Yeah,
whoever talks about that is another thing. But you can at least ask him the questions, can't you, and see what he says. And that'd be an
yeah,
interesting one. Big AEW wrestler, of course. You mentioned Stadium Stampede, big part of those
definitely.
over the years. So the great stuff. Honestly, that's going to be some good stuff. So go check out at One Breezy still, right? Is that still the name?
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
that's still go and check that out when it comes out. McGuinness one out. Did you say McGuinness is
yeah. The
out?
Megas has been out 48 hours now, I think.
There you go, everybody. So there's your check to go and do that. Coming up on our channel, we do have a TNA interview. I don't know who it is yet. Headed into Bound for Glory. I'll find out Monday. What I've been told is it's in character. I've done a few in characters, not with TNA, but I've done a few with in characters before. Uh, mm, well, we have to wait and see who it is. But it's Bound for Glory week, though. So it'll be an interesting one, whoever we get. A big thanks to TNA for that. I can now say that from the NWA, they're sending me down the Pope, which will be a lovely one to have before he competes at Samhain next weekend or the weekend after that. So the Pope will be joining me and Fiona for that, as will other couple of NWA stars as we go towards Exodus with Exodus Pro Wrestling. We're going to be having a few of those guys on board probably after the show, but Exodus will air on the NWA YouTube channel on October the 11th. So make sure you check it out. It's free. You can check it out. You don't have to watch it late. You don't have to stay up till 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. You can watch it anytime on the channel. So make sure you check out the brand of EC3, who will be joining us at some point again on this show as well, because he's promised us that in a message to me personally. So we'll see him again soon. Jordan, it's been great talking AEW. We'll be back doing this next week. Keep up that great work. I'm going to go and see that Nigel McGuinness interview a little bit later on, but I am just about to go and join the Nordic Wrestling Podcast, part one of a collaboration. I'm going live. Haven't shaved. Sorry, guys, for those people that was expecting anything of the sort, but I will go and do that. I will check out your Nigel McGuinness interview very soon after that, and we'll do this again next week.
Definitely, man. I've enjoyed it.
I've enjoyed it as well. From Jordan, it's been your host Adam Cousins, and until next time, everybody, buckle down, stay safe, goodbye.